Every day your mind is under attack, not with weapons, but with words, emotions, and psychological triggers you don't even notice. You walk into a store and leave with things you never planned to buy. You reply to a message just because the silence makes you anxious. You say yes to requests even when your gut screams no. This isn't a coincidence. There are people, marketers, salespeople, toxic friends, even partners, who study how to control your decisions without you realizing it. These are the tactics of dark psychology, subtle, powerful, and designed to bypass your logical thinking. In this video, I'm going to show you 4 of the most common manipulation techniques that influence your choices every single day. And once you see them, you'll never look at human interaction the same way again. Let's start with something so subtle, most people fall for it without even realizing. It's called the foot in the door technique. Here's how it works. It starts small, very small, a harmless request. Maybe a stranger stops you on the street and asks, "Hey, could you sign this petition to save the environment?" You think, why not? It's just a signature, no big deal. But here's what's happening psychologically. By agreeing to that tiny favor, your brain starts creating a new identity. I'm the kind of person who helps with good causes. And that's exactly what the manipulator wants. Because next time, the request won't be so small. Maybe they'll ask for a donation. Maybe they'll ask you to volunteer your time. Maybe they'll pressure you into making a big purchase or agreeing to something you're uncomfortable with. This tactic doesn't just happen on the street. It happens in marketing. When a company offers you a free sample just to get your attention, it happens in relationships. When someone constantly asks for just a little help, until suddenly you're doing everything for them. Why does it work? Because human beings crave consistency. Once we say yes, we want our future actions to align with that first decision. Otherwise, we feel uncomfortable. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance. So we keep saying yes again and again until we're deep in a commitment we never planned to make. The scary part? This manipulation builds slowly, one yes at a time, until you're trapped in someone else's agenda. Now, let's talk about one of the most emotionally draining tactics manipulators use, the guilt trip. It's simple, but devastatingly effective. It starts with a subtle comment, a sigh, a look of disappointment, or it's direct and blunt. After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me. Sound familiar? Guilt trips work by flipping the narrative. Suddenly, you're not the victim anymore. You're the bad guy. You're ungrateful, selfish, thoughtless, even if, deep down, you know you've done nothing wrong. Manipulators love this tactic because it bypasses logic and targets your emotions directly. It doesn't matter if their expectations were unrealistic or if their demands are unfair. What matters is making you feel bad enough that you'll do whatever it takes to make the guilt stop. You'll apologize for things you didn't do. You'll agree to favors you don't want to do. You'll bend over backwards just to restore peace. And the worst part? The more you give in, the worse it gets. Why? Because every time you cave, you're teaching the manipulator that this tactic works, that guilt equals control. You're reinforcing their behavior, turning their emotional manipulation into a habit. And over time, you may even start guilt-tripping yourself, convincing yourself that maybe you are the problem, that maybe you're not doing enough. But here's the truth. Healthy relationships don't require guilt. They're built on communication, not emotional blackmail. Next up is a tactic that triggers one of the most primal fears buried deep inside your brain, the scarcity effect. It plays on your fear of missing out, on time running out, on opportunities slipping through your fingers. You've seen it in marketing 1,000 times. Only 2 items left in stock. Offer ends at midnight. Last chance. Act now or miss out forever. And guess what? It works. Scarcity creates panic. It hijacks your rational thinking and activates your survival instincts. Your brain starts screaming, what if I miss this? What if it's gone forever? What if everyone else grabs it and I'm left with nothing? And so you act quickly, emotionally, without thinking it through. But here's where it gets even darker. Manipulators don't just use scarcity in sales. They use it in relationships, friendships, even workplace dynamics. You'll hear things like, "If you don't commit now, I'll find someone who will. This is your only chance to prove yourself. You're lucky I'm giving you this opportunity. Others would kill for it." They create the illusion that you're replaceable, that their time, their love, their approval is limited. And suddenly, you're chasing after their validation, begging for attention, making rushed decisions, all because you're afraid of losing something that may never have been real in the first place. Scarcity turns calm decision-making into emotional desperation. And the worst part? The pressure feels real, even when the scarcity is completely fake. Now, we enter one of the darkest tactics in manipulation psychology: gaslighting. This isn't just lying. It's not just twisting the truth. Gaslighting is psychological warfare designed to make you doubt your own reality. Here's how it starts. It's subtle at first. You remember a conversation clearly. You remember the words, the tone, even how it made you feel. But when you bring it up, the manipulator says, "That never happened," or "You're remembering it wrong." You feel confused, but you let it go. Next time, it happens again and again and again, until suddenly you start questioning yourself. Am I overreacting? Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe it really is my fault. And that's exactly where they want you. Because once you start doubting your own memory, your own emotions, your own perception, you become dependent on them for what's real. They become the authority on your reality. And they'll use that power to shift blame, to rewrite history, to justify their behavior, and to make you feel like you're the problem, even when you're not. Gaslighting happens in toxic relationships, abusive workplaces, even between friends and family members. It's not always loud and obvious. Sometimes it's disguised as concern. "You've been so forgetful lately. Maybe you should see someone," or framed as jokes. "Relax, you're imagining things again." But the long-term damage is no joke. Victims of gaslighting often develop anxiety, depression, and a deep mistrust of their own mind. If you ever find yourself constantly second-guessing your memory, your feelings, or your own sanity, stop. Take a step back. Ask yourself, is it really me, or is someone rewriting my reality? Recognizing gaslighting is the first step to breaking free from it. Now you've seen just how subtle and dangerous these dark psychology tactics really are. From the small requests that trap you, to the guilt that wears you down, the fake urgency that clouds your thinking, and the gaslighting that makes you question your own sanity. Manipulation isn't always obvious. It's quiet, strategic, and it feeds on your emotions when you're not paying attention. But here's the good news. Awareness is your first line of defense. The moment you start seeing these patterns for what they are, you take back control. You stop reacting and start thinking. You set boundaries, you question motives, and most importantly, you protect your mind from being hijacked. If you found this video helpful and you want to go deeper, I've written an entire book that breaks down even more dark psychology tactics with real-world examples and strategies to defend yourself. It's called the Puppet Masters Playbook. You'll find the link in the description. And if you want more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's keep building your psychological defenses together.